Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Moving the Chains here on Team NBS Media. Sorry for the delay. For the 8 people that were waiting, though, you guys are real ones because we were fixing some stuff in the background, aka I wasn't ready yet. But we're here, we're ready to roll, and I did not party all week like I did last week, so I'm fresh and alive. How have you guys been since we last chatted? It feels like yesterday. I'm not even lying.
I'm good. Can't complain, man. It's vacation week, so I'm chilling.
I'm as right as the males. I guess it depends on your mail carrier.
Okay. I mean, that's true. It's a very true statement. So I think we should kick things off with the winners of last week. Jeff, can you please share how we did in the rankings?
Oh, absolutely. Well, without much further ado, Greg and I led the way at 11-3. Ashmere close behind at 10-4. And Joe was icy cold at 7-7.
Man,
Thanks for the Jordan meme. Crying face. I like that.
Pop culture.
Joe would have been higher by 1 if the Patriots didn't, if the Bengals didn't blow it. Okay.
That's true.
Oh, how about if Atlanta showed up?
That too. There you go. That's 2 wins right there. I lost.
Yeah, that Atlanta game was crazy. Tomorrow night it's gonna be I don't even know. Not even a nail biter. More just like I feel like I'm gonna watch Kirk Cousins the entire time of how he's gonna be able to move or throw or walk. I don't know. All of the above.
Names.
So today we've got many exciting games. I think there was too many to choose from. I honestly feel like today's also a bunch of weird games. Like I wanted to talk about the Jets and the Titans because that one feels weird. My friend talked about how he's like a huge Will Levis fan. And so I was like, okay, well, this is like a nice matchup for him. Jets are coming off of a bad loss. And like, is this the time Will Levis can show up? I don't know. But it's okay. We're not talking about that one. First, we're going to kick things off with the Bengals and the Chiefs, of course. The Bengals are coming off a crazy loss. I mean, like, that was so unexpected. Shout out to Gerard Mayo, though, for getting the first win for himself and that team. And now they have to face the Super Bowl champs, of course, Kansas City. In Kansas City, mind you, which is, I feel like, one of the most difficult places to play football. So, to start things off, Joe, I'll give you the Chiefs. I'm curious to hear how you think they just keep playing consistent football. They lost Hollywood Brown, right? I don't know if that was a loss. They haven't really played yet, but we still have some bright spots in Xavier Worthy. So talk a little bit about positives for the Chiefs and then just taking on this struggling Bengals team of week 1.
I think if you're Kansas City, you kind of got to do the same thing we did on offense. I mean, getting Xavier Worthy the ball in space. We all saw how fast he was. Isaiah Pacheco established that running game, and of course, Patrick Mahomes is going to be Patrick Mahomes. So I think on the offensive side of the ball, if I'm Kansas City, I'm excited for what I can possibly do. I think on the defensive side, you gave a lot of points to Baltimore's team. You won by a toe, as everybody talked about for the whole week. So I think on the defensive side, we definitely have some things we have to improve on. Chris Jones continues to be a dog and a leader on that side of the ball, but I want to see that revamped secondary, some play from the linebackers. So Kansas City, I think offense, same old. The defense needs to see improvement. And I think for Cincinnati, I don't know what that was, I guess New England Patriots. I kept on waiting for Joe Burrow to click on the switch. Now we're seeing people talk about his wrist. Is the injury completely healed? I've even heard people talk crazy talk. Is Joe Burrow washed? So I think if you're Cincinnati, you need to show up from the beginning of this game and you need to get a win. And I think if you're Kansas City, you got to see improvement on the defensive side of the ball.
All right, Jeff, why don't you tell us how the Bengals can start off strong, as Joe had said?
Well, it starts with defense. Something that they didn't play a lot of great defense last week. We saw New England go out there. Now, New England didn't light it up, but they were able to move the ball on the ground. They were able to make plays when they needed to, get a lead, and hold on to it. This Kansas City team is a different animal. They're going to come out there, make some big throws down the field. They're going to get that running game going, so it's opportunistic and work off of it with some other plays. A lot of lateral movement as well. So if I'm Cincinnati, you got to rush You got to be able to rush the quarterback with 4 players. If you're blitzing a lot, you're going to run into issues with Joe Burrow and his receiving core. So don't overstress your secondary. Be able to mix up coverages and basically win with 4 rushing the quarterback.
I feel like I think Joe is struggling. I'm just going to admit it. I know it's only been 1 week, but when you dye your hair blonde, and I keep bringing it up because it's a power move, to come out against one of the worst teams in the NFL and not even be able to be an offensive opponent, I feel like something's going wrong here. So I think, what are you saying as Joe in the locker room? Like, how can Joe just hype everybody up? And then yesterday we saw the Jamar Chase is like mad about his contract, right? I just feel like when you have too much negative talk and losing to the Patriots, I think there's just like some kind of hype message that I feel like Jeff is aware of that they're sharing with each other. So what is it?
Well, I can tell you from experience, it starts with the old Bill Belichick words: do your job. Okay, everybody's got to do their 1/11th, right? You want to be a winning football team? Every player that steps on the field has a job to do. They got to do it to the best of their ability. Right now, you're seeing breakdowns on this team. Breakdowns in protection, breakdowns when it comes to receivers getting open on time, breakdowns in the secondary, going out there, giving up crucial 3rd down catches that extend drives, the running game, defensive linemen and linebackers getting out of gaps. So there's enough blame to go around on this Bengals team for why they lost week 1. You don't want this to be another week. So what you want to do is go out there, put a hard work practice, put a good week of practice with some hard work. Go out there, make sure you're going through the film, make sure you're getting the tendencies of the Kansas City Chiefs, finding ways to come out there and make opportunistic plays in situations that are going to help you win this football game. But it's got to start with everybody. As much as we put on Joe Burrow, this offensive line has got to step up their game. The defensive line has to step up their game after what we saw last week. Most importantly, this secondary's got to step up if it's a very good receiving core of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, and of course, if Taylor Swift is in the stands, it's going to be loud and rowdy, okay? Like, we can all agree that will be the case, and that just makes it even louder in Arrowhead. We're gonna predict later, but I feel like if the Bengals just pretend week 1 was like a preseason game and then just come back and act in all of the ways that Jeff and Joe have both talked about, I think this could be a more competitive matchup. And I'm hoping, because we've seen the Bengals take down the Chiefs once before, so I'd like to see it again. Duh. Next, we'll roll into the Bucks and Lions, and this is Jeff's team, okay? If you watch, he's got the Bucks Weekly where he is dropping hard facts. So why don't you share a little bit of your summary, Jeff, from the Bucks Weekly that you shared about this week's matchup?
Well, anybody that watches the show knows when it comes to the game plan for the Bucks, I have what we call a map to pirate treasure, right? First thing you got to do, you got to come out and stop this Lions running game. You can't let the Lions dictate the line of scrimmage. So you got to go out there, you slow down this running game. That'll allow you to put pressure on Jared Goff in some 3rd and long situations. You'll be able to slow down this receiving core, keep it a low-scoring game on the Lions end. Then as a Bucks team, guess what? You got to come out there and slow down their pass rush, right? They're big on the outside as far as pass rush. Up the middle, they're more big for stopping the run. So what you want to do is Aiden Hutchinson and any other edge rushers, you want to slow those guys down. So you got Tristan Wirfs on the left side, who you're very confident in. The guy you're worried about, right tackle Luke Goedeke, who's moving over from left guard to right tackle this year. I think it's a better fit for him at right tackle. He was a tackle in college. They tried to plug him in at guard. It's a better fit at right tackle. But you got to get used to being out there every week versus different pass rushers. And this is a tough one in Aiden Hutchinson, who they're going to move around. So he's going to see a steady diet of Aiden Hutchinson today. Expect Luke Goedeke to be a tough matchup. He's got to hold up in order for Tampa Bay to be able to go out there and score consistently on Detroit. Last but not least, let them bake. Listen, as much as we love to see Baker Mayfield hand the ball off to these backs that they have, you got to go out there and let Baker bake. That's what you've done the first 2 games. Baker Mayfield has been there. So far, he's done exactly what you needed him to do. He went out there in the preseason, did well. But last week, Baker Mayfield was the dude. Okay, the running game did kick off and had some great moments, but you need Baker to go out there with protection, make plays. He's going to escape sometimes when things break down. That'll allow for some scramble drill throws. Mike Evans is hot right now. You, of course, got Godwin making crucial catches. The young receivers are starting to step up, and you still have tight ends that can catch the football. then of course your backs as well. This team has a lot of weapons, but the main thing is you got to let Baker bake.
And the fact that Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are still performing the way that they are, like Mike Evans he really is unstoppable. I feel like anytime he's down the field, you just assume he's going to catch a touchdown. It's almost like when Travis Kelce's all over the place. You're like, how does he figure out to find that open space? And he does, and he scores. And it's great to watch. All right, Lions went into overtime last week, Joe, and in a game that they were very much leading. So how can they combat that kind of issue in this game? Because I think the Lions are everyone's favorite in the NFC because everyone hates the Niners. So I think that looking forward to them taking on, this is a very fun matchup. I feel like it's one of the more exciting games of the week. So yeah, speak on the Lions side.
I think if you're the Lions, kind of like I talked about with Cincinnati, you got to see an improvement on defense. That Aaron-led defense has got to show up. I mean, they gave a lot of points from big plays to the Rams. Like Jeff talked about, you got to think that Aiden Hutchinson is going to get some pass rush and kind of make things uncomfortable for Baker Mayfield. I think the key for Detroit is if you can shut down that Tampa Bay run game and force Baker Mayfield to throw the ball 30, 35 times, that's what you want. He's a great feel-good story, but at the same time, he's a great feel-good story with a running game. When you're depending on Baker to drop back 40-something times, you usually does not spell a recipe for victory. So I think if I'm the Detroit Lions, I want to shut down that run game. And then on offense, I mean, the running game was great. You saw Jared Goff kind of back to where he needs to be as far as being one of the upper echelon quarterbacks in the NFL. I think you're kind of joking with yourself if you think that Jared Goff is just a game manager. I think he's a guy that can go around and sling the rock with pretty much ease. So I think if I'm the Detroit Lions, let's stop that Tampa Bay running game, force Baker Mayfield to throw the ball early and often. That way we can just concentrate on our pass rush.
Okay, I'm looking up here. Where are they playing?
This is in Detroit. I mean, yeah, it's in Detroit.
Okay. Is Baker bad in the cold weather? I mean, I don't know if it's that cold there.
Well,
but...
it's a dome. It's a dome.
Oh, yeah.
It's a dome.
Some people wish Detroit played outside. That'd be kind of awesome if they did.
I mean, I think
I don't know about that one.
The Bills are building a new stadium outside is still outrageous to me because we've seen the weather implications out there.
Have you seen Bills fans? They don't care if it's cold. Okay, they do not care if it's cold.
Green Bay fans, Bears fans, when the Bears are actually winning, yeah.
Listen, I'm originally from New York. I've been to MetLife Stadium or Giant Stadium in the past in December, late December, when it's bleeding cold outside and guys are out there with no shirt on. Okay, that's not cold compared to Buffalo, and they're out there with no shirt on, painted chests. They paint themselves blue and feel warm. Okay, that's a different animal. That's like Chicago. No. They'll build an outdoor stadium. It'll be cold. They don't care about Super Bowls. They just want their Bills to win.
How many stadiums have you both been to? I've only been to 2. So
I've been to a handful. I haven't been to all, but I've been to a handful.
Maybe 7. Yeah, I think it's 7.
What would you rank them? What's your number one? Don't pick your own.
Well, I haven't been to too many of the newer ones, so it's hard for me. You know, I haven't even been to Jerry World yet, and it's been around for almost 20 years. So, so there's still a lot that I haven't seen. I've been to the Superdome. I wish they would get a new stadium because that's an old stadium to me. No matter how many times they redo it, it's old. I've never been to Lambeau, although I've known a lot of people who have, of course, that worked there. So I've heard good things about it, even after the renovation, and I've heard bad things about it too. I must say that the Link is way better than the Vet ever was, although it's still in Philadelphia, which says a lot. You know,
just lost all the Eagle fans that are watching. Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, they're
listen, I'm sorry. Listen, they're gonna be mad anyway. Whether they're mad when they win, they're mad when they lose. It is what it is. So,
I say Jerry's World. I went there for the. I got a chance to go to the Big 12 championship game last year, so I got to see Oklahoma State get destroyed by Texas. But that stadium is just, man, what you hear about it until you go, you don't understand. I mean, top-notch facilities, not a bad seat in the house. That scoreboard looks like a planet. So I'd say Jerry's World is probably the best football stadium I've been to.
Yeah, I've been there too.
I've heard great things about it. I know people that hate the Cowboys that would love that stadium. but I've heard even better things about. I've heard even better things about SoFi. So I might think SoFi maybe.
That's enough right there. You know.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of great things about SoFi.
Yeah, I went there for the Pac-12 championship, Marcus Mariota back in the day. And the national championship, not Pac-12. And it was crazy. I was wearing so many layers and I came inside, people wearing shorts, like as if they just drove in and then parked right at the stadium and walked right inside. I was like, this is insane. So it was really cool. Very beautiful in there. All right, we're going to take a quick break. And by that, I mean, we're going to show our Week 2 locks with Mark. So stay tuned.
Yo, what's good? Maz Podcast here with your Week 2 NFL bets courtesy of BetUS. Head on over to BetUS. Use promo code TEAMNBS. Look above. Promo code TEAMNBS. Join now. 125% sign up bonus. Yo, sorry about last week. The Falcons screwed us. Other than that, we would have won some cash. So let's head on over to Week 2. All right, boom, real quick. We're taking the Jets. We're taking the Commanders. We're taking the Ravens. We're taking the Colts. We're taking the Eagles. And for the upset pick, because no parlay is good without an upset pick, we're taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So head on over to BetUS for your 125% sign-up bonus. Use promo code. Look above. Look above. Look above. Look up. Look up. Look up. Team NBS. Promo code Team NBS. Remember, if you win, all I want is 10%. Nothing big. That's all. Yo, good luck. See y'all next week.
All right, y'all. It's your girl, Christy Lowe with Team MBS Media, and I have a quick little 6-leg parlay. Make sure you guys go to betus.com, use promo code TEAMNBS to go ahead and get your deposit matched up to 125%. So let's go ahead and jump into my parlay. Okay, my first leg is the Cowboys versus the Browns game. Browns played bad last week. Dak just got that money. I got Dallas for the money line. Tampa is in Detroit. Lions are at home. I have the Lions winning. Lions looked great last week, but it will be a good game. So Lions for the money line. My next leg is the 49ers are in Minnesota. Minnesota is hurt. We all know San Francisco got this game in the bag. No explanation necessary. Next is over and under in total points for the Colts versus Packers game. It'll be a good game even though the Packers don't have Jordan Love. So I got the over 40.5 points. Commanders and Giants, I have total points under. Last but not least, money line, Cardinals got it. All right, y'all, it's your girl, Christy Lowe with Team MBS Media, and I have a quick little 6-leg parlay.
Oh, I thought she was going to say bye-bye. You know, the Niners have not won in Minnesota in 32 years. I made a TikTok last night, and somebody informed me of that.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Oh. I got it right here. Since 1992, December 13th, that was the last time the Niners won in Minnesota. So I feel like that makes it more exciting. I mean, you can't just assume that the Niners are going to be amazing every single week. That's not how it makes football exciting. But when you're watching today at 10 a.m., everyone, just keep in mind there's some kind of Minnesota thing that takes over the Niners that could happen and be in Sam Darnold's favor today. And I'm sure he would love that, okay? It's like his revenge game. All right, to close the series out, we're going to talk about, of course, our favorite team ever, the Texans, against the Chicago Bears. Because we are all CJ Stroud stands here. If you've been watching Moving the Chains since last season, you will know that he is our guy. And he has shown to be that guy. So Caleb Williams got a win. It wasn't pretty. I feel like everyone needs to still remember, bro, a win is a win, okay? Give this guy some credit. Even though it didn't come from him directly, Justin Fields got a win. It didn't come from him directly. All these things still put the W on their board. So I'm curious to hear, you're going to Texas. It's about to be psycho. I think this is the new Arrowhead. How do you get Caleb hyped? What are the Bears saying to each other right now? And I think Rome is injured and Keenan Allen is questionable. So there's a lot of problems in the receiving side. DJ Moore or bust. So how are you going into this game as the Bears? You still won. So let me know, Joe.
I'll use my Jeff Barnes coaching hat and use coach speak and say, you're on the road. You got to do two things, man. I mean, it's common sense, football 101. We got to run the ball to keep the Texans offense on the sideline, and we got to have no turnovers. You can't have any turnovers and give that crowd an extra reason to be hyped and give CJ Stroud and that new look Texans offense even more juice. So if I'm the Bears, we got to establish the running game, make things easy on Caleb. If this turns into a Caleb Williams versus CJ Stroud shootout, I like to say that CJ Stroud probably wins that handily based on what I've seen in the past. I know that Caleb Williams only has that one game to go off of, but I've seen enough CJ Stroud to know that if it comes down to a shootout, the Bears are going to go home with an L. So I think from the Chicago Bears, like I said, we can't have any silly turnovers at all. And we got to establish that run game to keep that Texans offense off the field and also make things a lot easier for Caleb Williams. Play action pass, like Ashmere said, DJ Moore, DJ Moore, DJ Moore. Did I mention DJ Moore? And you might be able to lead there with the win.
This sounds like a fantasy tip here. All right, Jeff. Texas barely pulled away last week with the strongest arm in the league of Anthony Richardson. I don't know where he came from, but he was just throwing it down the field and kept himself afloat with that team. So Texas barely got through that, and they're taking on the new fun rookie. Break down what you think is going to go well for them.
Well, defensively, they're going to be able to confuse Caleb Williams and make him make mistakes. We saw him play like a rookie last week. Well, guess what? The task gets tougher this week. You don't have Rome Odunze. He's going to be out injured. Keenan Allen is already banged up. He came into the season banged up. But most importantly, you struggled to run the football last week. And this is not an easy team to run the football on. So I believe there's going to be some more struggles this week for Caleb Williams. I think their record will even out because of it. A little spoiler, not just a prediction, but a spoiler. But nevertheless, all right, what you're going to see from Houston is, hey, we came out slow last week on offense. We're going to look to crank it up this week with CJ Stroud and company. So expect them to come out firing at this Bears defense right away. The defense that loves to play a lot of zone, so they'll be trying to work their way down the field and open up some shots later on. They'll utilize that running game. CJ Stroud will get back on track. It's not going to be a slow start like they had against Indianapolis. They're going to look to put the Bears behind the ball early and make them play catch up.
When you have as many weapons as the Texans do, I feel like that is another thing that the Bears defense needs to combat in order to make any effort, right? To have any type of defensive threat. So you've got Stephon, Tank, Nico. What do you do here?
Joe Mixon.
Oh, Joe Mixon. Yes, sorry.
He was 22 years old last week, man. I didn't know that guy had in him still.
Yeah, well, you got to look at the coach, right? We know the Bears love to run a lot of zone. As you think of that Marinelli style of defense that Eberflus runs, so you're going to see a lot of four-man pressure, a lot of twist stunts and all that stuff. You'll see some blitzing from here and there, some man coverage, but he's going to look to play bend but don't break. He knows he's overmatched offensively, so he's going to look to try and give up ground but not give up 7. Holding the field goals, try and manage the game that way defensively. But he's got to find a way to get this offense going. It's going to be tough to do. Okay, like I said, you got some of your best options are out or injured. So you're going against a juggernaut offensively. You don't have all the weapons in the toolbox. And you got a defense that's really built more to hold people off than it is to dominate.
Joe.
Yep. I think this game is going to come down to the Houston Texans just playing their game. I think the Chicago Bears want this game to be ugly. They're looking for like a 17-10 type of game. They want it to be a classic Chicago Bears game, those old school Bears teams of the 90s. I think if this game becomes a high-scoring affair, that's serious advantage Houston Texans. And I think for all of us who are saying that the Houston Texans are a serious contender in the AFC, you got to think that these are one of those games that you have to win. The teams that are really serious about being championship contenders, that have real Super Bowl aspirations, these are the games you win. I'm not saying it's got to be a blowout, but you find a way to get a W. I think if you lose to a rebuilding team like Chicago Bears, you kind of got to reassess what you're going through. So I think for Houston, you got to get the job done.
You hear that, Bengals fans? If you're trying to be a contender, you got to lock it up, okay? I mean, I think that's the motto of the season. There are sure teams that are rebuilding. The Raiders, the Chargers.
Commanders forever.
Everyone in the AFC West. So those are the games that you really need to put away when the time comes. Yeah. I think this game is going to start off almost like when you're watching a team kind of let the game roll, and then all of a sudden Texas is gonna blow it up. And they're just gonna in the fourth quarter be like, all right, we're done here. Let's get this 15-point lead and go to bed. And put out only a couple receivers and just dominate defensively. So that leads us into everyone's favorite part of the show. We're gonna hit the rapid fire, where we each go through and Jeff beautifully tallies where we are, who's going to win, and how we're going to land next week. So we're going to kick off with, let me pull this down, the first game, which is the Niners and the Vikings.
After that stat you just gave us, now I don't feel so confident with my pick. And I was 7-7 last week. I got to redeem myself.
32 years. I mean, like, I did not believe that guy. I was like, no. He must have been 3.
I'll let you think about it, Joe.
Nah, I'm going 49ers. I don't believe in Sam Darnold. I'm sorry. I don't believe in Sam Darnold.
Well,
and is Jordan Addison playing for the Vikings today, or we don't know yet still?
I'll give you the answer to that in the rock form. It doesn't matter if he's playing or not, because plain and simple, like, they don't have the team to beat San Francisco. This is San Francisco's game all the way.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Niners too.
Oh, God, not the moving the chains curse. Real people.
I mean, if we're in the fourth quarter and we're texting each other with the same responses we had last week, we know the curse is real. But like you just said, Niners are trying to run it back. There's no way they could lose to their former backup quarterback. Okay? That's it. That's the end of the sentence. All right, then next up, we've got Seattle and the Patriots.
This is a toughie. When you look at this matchup, because two defensive-minded teams, offenses that are meant to kind of just give you enough. Who do you pick in these situations? Because these go either way, right? Do you believe in Jacoby Brissett? Do you believe in Geno Smith? Two guys that are exactly what we thought they would be, solid starters, not great starters, with teams that aren't exactly world beaters on offense. I'm going to go with the team that has slightly more weapons. I'm going to go with Seattle in this one.
And they're in New England.
Yeah, I'm still going to go Seattle.
Yeah, I'm feeling a nice Tyler Lockett touchdown, a DK Metcalf touchdown. I'm rolling with Seattle as well.
Yeah, I'll look for somebody else to be my upset special. This ain't the game for it, so I'll go Seahawks.
So Niners fans, you got to feel good. Somebody else has a potential for the unanimous curse this week.
Hey, I picked the Cardinals last week, okay?
Same. I was feeling really good first time.
Well, you did great on your one lone wolf.
I was feeling great.
That was the Steelers, right?
Huh?
Was my lone wolf the Steelers one?
It might have been the Steelers.
It was. Yeah. She's the only one.
Yeah.
All right.
I remember laughing.
The Commanders and the Giants. And if you watched the betting video from earlier, Mark says he's picking the Commanders. So, Joe, are you picking your Commanders or what?
Well, I mean, the Giants looked really bad last week, and I think that Jaden Daniels is already better than Daniel Jones. So, yeah, I'm going to stick with the home team.
If Scary Terry is not cooking today, like I said that last week too, but
I really targets last week. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what I mean. This is like his opportunity. If you have him in fantasy, you're eating.
Are you going Commanders as well? Okay. All right. Listen, somebody else is getting the same curse because there is not enough right now for the New York Giants to get me to pick them to win a coin toss more. That's a video game, a football game right now. So therefore, I'm taking the Commanders.
Oh shoot, we're flying too close to the sun with each other right now. Okay.
Sometimes the matchups dictate themselves.
Well, like this next one we have, the Chargers and the Panthers. I don't think anyone's picking anything.
What did I text you guys? Like in the middle of the first quarter, I said I forgot to add Bryce Young to the prayer circle. He's still in the prayer circle. There's no way I'm picking Carolina to win a game.
The fact that the Chargers get to be 2-0 is like making me, they just hate it.
The Jim Harbaugh effect, some would say. I think good scheduling.
Or the Raiders should start AOC. I mean, if you're a Raider fan, let me know. I'm not hallucinating when I say we all saw how bad Minshew was. He's a backup guy. That's just who he is. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah, well, so I got everybody locked in on the Chargers. What do we move on to next?
Saints and the boys.
So now we're getting into a matchup we should get some disparity on here.
Yes.
Where's the game played at?
In Dallas.
In Dallas.
Or Arlington, if you want to say Arlington.
I think Cowboys roll. I think the Saints played the Panthers last week. I take that with a grain of salt. I think that the Cowboys roll in this game.
I have learned to not pick Derek Carr, so I'm going to pick Dallas too.
We may have another one liable for the curse here. Listen, I think this game is going to be closer than a lot of people think. I think both defenses are going to show up. I do think Dallas wins with that incredible kicker that they have at the end of the game. It's going to be a tight one. Cowboy fans are going to be on the edge of their seats. They're going to be thinking, "Oh God, we're going to lose this one." Brandon Aubrey's going to save the day. Give me Dallas on a field goal.
On a field goal. You know what? I think Saints fans would be happy with that, okay? That means they've played a competitive matchup. All right, Colts and the Packers. This one makes me sad. Why is Jordan Love injured?
Well, do you believe in Malik? That's the question, right? The Titans didn't. They let him go. They traded him over to him, right? The Packers believe in him. I don't know if it gets it done though.
I'm picking the Colts. I'm riding with Richardson.
I don't blame you. My problem with this matchup is I like this young man coming out of college, but I projected him as a project quarterback. He needed time to develop coming out of Liberty. He still needs time to develop. Now you're thrusting him into must-win situations that rarely works out for you. For me, I'm going to go with the Colts.
Yeah, me too. When Joe pops back, he'll be our other deciding factor. Oh, his power went out. Looks like Joe. We'll have to add Joe's at a later time. Electricity. All right.
Well, listen, that happened to me this morning. So the storm's coming through Tampa. It happens, folks.
Oh. All right, we got the Browns and the Jags.
Browns and the Jags. All right, so
this is a must-win game. I feel like we could have talked on this one a little bit because Deshaun's got to show up. He's got his name in the news for all the wrong reasons, and the Jaguars are competing against the Texans, right? Like these are teams you got to put away. So I'm tossing it up. You go first.
Well, what we'll do is we'll add Joe's picks later. So this is a tough one for me. I think Cleveland is not as bad as what we saw last week. I think they just weren't ready for Dallas, plain and simple. But Jacksonville went out there. They had a good start to the game and let it slip away. So these are two teams that come off a disappointing week one. They both have offensive weapons. They both have solid defenses. Well, Cleveland has a better than solid defense, a very good defense. Who do you trust more? Well, the quarterback in Jacksonville is playing better than the guy in Cleveland. But overall, the guy in Cleveland last week had no offensive tackle help last week, and he was getting his butt kicked by one of the better pass rushers in the league. So I still think this is going to be another tight game. As much as I want to say Jacksonville wins it, something in my gut is telling me Cleveland.
Wow, okay.
But I'm not ready to pick Cleveland yet. I'm going to go.
I know. I'm with you. If we could see Deshaun air the ball out, I think that would change the way that you can perceive him. But I'm going Jags too. Like, I think they just rely on ETN to really hold it down. And I have Trevor Lawrence in my fantasy league, so I need that. I need the.
Those are always good reasons to pick the team that helps you in this fantasy league.
Trust me,
I've been there. Yeah. So that's the one thing about them. I just don't know if Cleveland could turn around after the week they had last week. First of all, we're still looking at the tackle Are they going to be healthy enough to play this week? That's rule number one, because this team has a pass rush too in Jacksonville. All right, we talked about ETN and all the weapons Jacksonville had. It wasn't enough to get the job done last week versus a very good team. Here's another very good team that's struggling on offense. I think overall, if they get back to running the football consistently, they have a better chance of beating Jacksonville than they did when they played Dallas last week. They didn't run the ball consistently against Dallas, and that's part of the problem, and that's why they got so beat up. So I think if they come out this week, they have a better chance. But right now, you just got to go with what you're looking at so far in week one. You got a 1 week sample size to go with, and the 1 week tells me Jacksonville's going to be the team that pulls this out.
Based off our 1 week sample size of Aaron Rodgers, how do you think he's going to perform against them Titans in Tennessee?
I think he'll perform well enough to win. I think overall, when you look at these offenses, neither one of them were lights out, but the Jets have more weapons. They have the more explosive offense. When you look at the defenses, the Jets, once again, their defense played horrible last week against 49ers. I think Tennessee's going to move the ball, but what you saw was pass rush came through in the end. Will Levis, under pressure, made the bad mistake that cost them the game. Guess what? You're throwing against Sauce Gardner and a better secondary than you saw last week. So give me the Jets in this one. I think they pull this out. They even their record at 1-1.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Jets too, but I honestly feel like I could also pick the Titans. And if the Jets get it done, it's also an assistance to that defense. Like, if Aaron Rodgers ain't throwing the ball, his defense is coming to back him up. So that's really why I'm giving the Jets my pick here. Oh, we've got him back, Joe. Welcome.
So afraid to make picks, I left.
Okay. So,
all right, you got the Jaguars?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Jags, Cleveland. Who you got, Joe?
Go Jacksonville. I mean, they gave up that game away to Miami, and we all saw how Cleveland played last week. And not a big Deshaun Watson guy. I think that the Cleveland Browns need to start thinking about.
You were going to pick the Browns. I'm not even going to lie.
Nah, if I'm the Cleveland Browns, I'm thinking, what do we got to pay to get this guy going?
Colts, Packers.
Ooh. Yeah, you got to go Colts. I don't think that a couple of practices is enough for Malik Willis to be able to come out there.
Ugly.
I'm just trying to use common sense in football.
No, the board's looking too pretty. Like, we're all synced up here.
That means it's going to be chaos today. Keep your phones ready.
Jets, Titans.
I mean, there's no way Aaron Rodgers can follow up that game against the 49ers and play that bad again. I mean, he didn't play horrible, but you can definitely see he was rusty. So I got to go Jets.
Jets, Jets.
All right, next up we've got the Bucks and the Lions. I think my favorite game of the day.
Same, C's.
Well, I guess I'll go since I'm wearing Buck red, right?
Yeah, I think we know the answer for you.
And no, I was actually going to go the opposite at one point, but I watched that game Sunday night. I don't think the Lions are playing their best ball yet. I think it's the best chance the Bucks have to beat them. They're playing more explosively offensively. If they can hold up in protection, give me the Bucks in this one.
I'm going to go Lions.
Lions.
Yeah, I'm going Lions. Forget to get the sound effect. I need to get the sound effect. Oh my gosh. Write that down. Lone Wolf. Got to get it.
All right, next up we've got Raiders and the Ravens. Ooh, ugly.
Oh, I think the Ravens beat the brakes off these guys. This game's in Baltimore too, right? Especially after that loss against Kansas City.
Bad. Like, I'm not even watching that. Don't ask me about it. Don't text me about it. If you have Devontae Adams, I'm hoping he gets some targets. Like, that's all you can hope for at this point. If he gets a touchdown, praise be.
Listen, they're coming off a tough loss, the one-toe loss, as everybody says, to, of course, the defending world champions. They're going to be pissed off about that. You got, of course, the Raiders coming in. Lord knows how they're playing right now. Expect the crowd in Baltimore to be chanting that Seven Nation Army extra loud today as the Ravens win.
Yeah, they went big. They went a long time to get back on the field.
Yeah.
All right, we got the Rams and the Cardinals, and a banged up Rams at that. I'm riding with Arizona.
They didn't play half bad last week.
No,
They
they did so much better than I thought. Like,
I felt so good about that pick first half. I felt so good about that pick first half. I had text messages in the holster ready to send to you guys about how I told you Arizona was going to win, and I quickly deleted them all. This is tough.
We got Nathan's on my side here.
Well, let's see.
Go for it, Jeff.
I'm going to go, and I may be lone wolfing on this too. I'm going to go with the Rams. Listen, I was impressed for a wounded team to come this close to knocking off Detroit week 1. Arizona played well in the first half, but we saw that Arizona team do the same thing last year, played great in the first half and then fall off in the second, except against the Eagles. I loved it when they played 4 quarters versus the Eagles. But I'm going to go with the Rams in this one. I think, it's a divisional matchup. These are always tough to predict, but especially when you have teams that, are kind of even right now. But I'm going to go with the Rams. I think the Rams pulled this one out.
They're in Arizona. I'm putting it, doubling down on it even more now. I won't feel advantage.
Listen, I went lone wolf twice, and it worked out for me 1 out of the 2 times. So if I go lone wolf on this one, I'm still comfortable with that.
I'm going to go Cardinals. I think that Marvin Harrison Jr. finally had the coming out party we thought was going to happen last week. I mean, what, he had 3-4 targets last week.
The Wolf is alone again.
If the Cardinals could remember that football has 4 quarters, they can win this game. So I'm going to go Arizona. I would not be surprised if they lose them.
All right,
Jeff's right. Rams played really good last week.
Yeah, but the Lions kind of gave it up in the end. That's what I really think happened. Their defense kind of fell apart. All right, Bengals and the Chiefs.
Tough. Two of my favorite quarterbacks, if not my 2 favorite quarterbacks. I'm gonna go Cincinnati. I think the Jamar Chase $50 million insurance policy in back pocket and Joe Burrow get it done. I think Joe's heard all the talking and the yapping, and they figure out a way to get it won.
Ooh, Nathan said we're going to overtime. I believe that too.
Yeah, I'm going Cincinnati.
I'm going Chiefs at home in this one. Listen, I'm going with the more explosive team. I'm going to go with the team that's playing great defense right now. They seem to be carrying over from the Super Bowl. Got away with one last week versus the Ravens, but that was Lamar. Lamar's a special animal. Joe Burrow's a great quarterback. Don't get me wrong. Right now, they're not playing as well as the Ravens did. So I'm going to go Chiefs.
I want to be wrong, but I want to be right that I'm right with my pick. Does that make sense? I'm going to pick the Chiefs, obviously, because we're keeping score here, but I want to be wrong. I want the Bengals to win. Don't everybody remember that.
That reminds me of that Al Green song. If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right.
Literally. That's how I feel about that pick.
Where else do you find an Al Green reference besides moving the chains? I like it.
That's called having good parents. They teach you good music.
Absolutely. True story.
All right. Next up, we've got the Steelers and the Broncos.
Ooh.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of weird games today.
I'm going to go Steelers. I think they figure out a way to get it done. I mean, you're playing Mike Tomlin in that defense against a rookie quarterback. A lot of Justin Fields left, a lot of Justin Fields right, a lot of play action pass. I go Pittsburgh.
Listen, they took out the team that everybody was
3 touchdown passes.
They took out the team that everybody was crowning as NFC South champions in the preseason, the Atlanta Falcons last week. Kept them out of the end zone consistently, make Kirk Cousins look regular, which is not hard to do at times, but nevertheless, they played a great game last week. They won how they had to win. They're using a field goal kicker, but they got it done. Denver, not as explosive as Atlanta should be, not the team Atlanta should be. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh in this one.
Playing in Denver is a very difficult feat alone, but I'm going to go with the Steelers because I really am hoping for a Justin Fields, revenge tour. I hope by week 4 when they said they're going to start Russell, it's like not even necessary because JF's just been cooking. So that's just my hope. All right, then we've got, of course, the Bears and the Texans Sunday night.
Come on, man. Just go Texans across the board.
Texans all day, baby. There's no conversation here.
You already know. Hit the repeat button, slap across.
Wow, a lot of people are eligible for the curse this week. I like it.
Yeah.
I won't feel as bad when it happens this time around.
Exactly. 8 different teams suffering the curse.
Hey, but Nathan's with us, so it better not be the Texans that are cursed.
Listen, I'm going to say this. Whoever gets it, listen, it seems to live on. I don't feel bad. We try to do what was best for picking you to win. If you go out there and lose, that's on you. Don't blame it on moving the chains, folks. You got to go out there and win the game.
For sure. We don't strap it up.
That's our disclaimer. Don't blame moving the chains.
In the words of Jerry Maguire, help me help you.
All right, closing things out on Monday night. We've got the Birds, Falcons, and Eagles.
I'm Eagles all the way. I think Kirk Cousins is not healthy at all.
Man, who do you pick in the Dirty Birds versus the National Birds? I don't know, man. I just, listen, the Eagles came out, they did what they had to do against Green Bay. Saquon looked amazing. This has got to be.
They're playing on an actual football field this time. That should help.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole nother thing in itself. It's hard to pick Atlanta right now from what I saw last week. I mean, once again, even if he's not healthy, he had the weapons. He made some terrible throws last week. Inexplicable. That one interception he threw where he could have just thrown the ball away, yet he tried to throw it off balance, falling back. Sometimes you really, with Kirk Cousins, it's not about what he's not capable of doing. It's the stuff that he does that just doesn't make sense as a guy who's played as long as he's played. So, I'm going to go with the Eagles. Listen, they want to know. I look for them to be 2-0. They're the better team. Atlanta's still putting it all together. I expect the Eagles defense to play way better than it did, though, against Green Bay. That was something that just shocked me.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. That defense needs time to gel. No, but by the end of the season, Eagles will have a good defense.
We're Eagles all around, it looks like.
Yep.
Okay, how many teams are unanimous?
We still got the Thursday night game.
Oh, sorry, yeah. To the future.
Yes. the Jets and the Patriots.
Oh,
Jets are at home.
Ugh. I'll go Jets this one.
That's the Thursday night game?
Yes, that's the Thursday night game.
All right, I'll go Jets too.
Thursday night always starts off super hot and then just kind of crashes and burns as the season goes on.
Well, after this Thursday, I think it was a very, worrisome game. And then now we've got the Patriots on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah. Shout out to Tua for a quick recovery, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think we got to talk about that before we get off the air.
Nathan says Jets 14-10. All right, Jets all around.
Yeah.
Well, what's that? 1, 2, that's 3.
Right, so 3 there. We are. I'll tell you what. We are 1, 2.
Is that 13?
3. So 11 games are unanimous out of 14.
That's dangerous numbers there.
We're going to like geniuses or idiots. Either way, it'll be fun.
And if you're just joining us, here's the last week's standings.
Really? Thanks, Ashman.
Just had to close it out with how we all did.
Yes, before we go, we got to talk the Tua situation, though.
Of course, yeah, please.
So, everybody saw the most recent Tua concussion. What do you guys think? I mean, everybody's immediately jumping to he should retire. They're beating up people and saying, if he wants to play, keep playing. What do you guys personally feel about it?
I feel like he needs to have a conversation with his family. I mean, I'm pretty sure he has kids. Yeah, kids, newly married. I have a conversation with my wife and my family and kind of get their input, what they think. I would obviously talk to the doctors. I would talk to somebody outside of the team doctors because, no offense, it's been shown in the past, NFL team doctors sometimes, for the most part, lean in favor of the team. So I would definitely get an outside consultant or consultants, plural, and then make the best decision for myself and for my family. I mean, whether I think he should play or stop playing doesn't really matter. I mean, at the end of the day, it's Tua's decision. So that's what I would do. Talk to my family, talk to outside doctors, and then make the best decision for myself. If it was me, I wouldn't play football anymore. I'd take the money they gave me and I'd walk away.
Yeah, I agree with Joe on that one. I think just the history of concussions for Tua coming from college last season, I mean, the internet collected together in worry of how he was hit back-to-back times. Like, it was just very difficult to see him come back and play. Of course, he's such a great quarterback. It's hard not to see him a part of this offense. But I think as a human being and a person, like, he can still contribute to the Miami team. I don't know if him being under center is the most important thing for himself and his health and his safety, because like Joe said, you've got a family to worry about. And at this point, you're definitely like the top talked about football player that has like the CTE worry, and they're trying to make things better for people in the future. But I think that Tua's example is where it's like Andrew Luck walked away. There's no problems in leaving the game and still participating in other ways and just, being a part of the game. I know it's hard. I can only imagine, like, once you make it to the professional level and where Tua has been with his career, he's always like right there in the competitive nature with everybody else. But I think for his own health and well-being, this is definitely the time for him to just reflect on the accomplishments he's made and take that money and just come back home and, just enjoy football as a fan.
Yeah. I'm going to say this. What I don't want to happen from this, and it's going to happen anyway, because let's face it, we're in the media industry. We have to talk about these subjects. There are people at bigger networks and bigger platforms that have to talk about these subjects. That's what they're paid to do. So the talk is always going to be out there. What I don't want is people to judge him by the decision he makes. Okay? It's a decision that he has to look at his long-term health. We all do that when you play this game. What frustrates me beyond all heaven is when people talk about, you have to do what's best for you. This game isn't, we have to make the game safer. You can't make this game any safer than it is right now. It is a collision sport. Okay? Concussions happen, broken bones happen. Okay? They happen. It's part of this game. Okay? It is a very violent game. Head injuries are part of it because, unfortunately, bodies come together. The head gets in the way at times. It happens. It's part of this game. Just like boxers take a lot of punches, and later in life, guess what? These same kind of things happen. Okay? So when you look at this game, it is inherently violent. It's going to be something that takes a toll on your body. If you decide to walk away at an early age, Gale Sayers, Barry Sanders walked away at an early age. Jim Brown walked away at an early age. We've seen it several times already. Terrell Davis had to walk away because he couldn't run anymore. Okay, your body is your body. When it says it's time to go, it's time to go. If he feels it's time to go, I have no qualms with that. If he feels he wants to continue playing, do not go on the internet and run out there and say, "Oh, he's stupid for doing this." If he believes he can play this game and be as safe as he's been most of his career up until this point, then he's going to do what he's got to do. I was fortunate to retire and walk away healthy at 29. I am not healthy now. I have bad shoulders, bad knees, bad ankles, okay, and arthritis in hands with 9 fingers that work, okay? And I played till 29 and was healthy when I walked away. This stuff catches up with you. This game catches up with you. So when you've had concussions, okay, as much as we talk about everything that comes along with it, there are guys that still function who have had more concussions than Tua Tagovailoa. You listen to games every Monday night. Troy Aikman has had double-digit concussions in his career. He still is a functional adult. So let's pump the brakes on whatever decision he makes. It's his decision to make. He's got to live with the repercussions, whether he leaves now or stays longer. He could play another 10 years and have a very good career and still have a fruitful life after that, despite the fact that he's had multiple concussions. I do believe, however, he does have to make a solid play change. He's going to have to play safer. He's going to have to slide more, even if it means ending up not getting a first down in certain situations. In that situation, I know he was playing to lead his team, but you know what? Slide and protect yourself, because guess what? You're getting your butt kicked right now. It wasn't getting any better, and you going out in that kind of situation didn't help matters anymore. So I get why he was trying to do it. Yes, we feel like we're warriors on the field and we want to fight and play this game to the best of our ability and compete until you carry us off. Trust me, getting carried off, and I've been carried off, is never a fun deal. You know, I was fortunate to only suffer one concussion in my playing career, all the way from high school all the way up to my last year minor league semi-pro. Trust me, I was fortunate. And we played with worse equipment than these guys have. We had less trainers, sometimes no trainers. Okay, so it was a lot more dangerous for us to play than these guys. These guys, if Damar Hamlin situation happened in a semi-pro game, the guy died, even though they airlifted him off the field. He died. Damar Hamlin didn't. Okay, so consider himself fortunate that he's having these issues, but he's having it with the medical staff around him that's able to help protect him. Okay, so that is a Tua decision, and I just don't want people to make him a villain either way.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think the fact that it happened, the tackle was from Damar Hamlin, is like a very, I don't know,
circle moment, kind of weird,
kind of surreal. Yeah, the fact that we had seen the coverage of that, and then he came back, and now we're talking about it in Tua's eyes. So I think all of us have made really great points. It is his decision at the end of the day. It's a very difficult thing to continuously watch, I will say, as a fan. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's part of the game. It's the worst part of the game. We don't like to see it happen, but it's the reality check. Listen, I hate it when I see a guy get dragged down from behind and I see that leg bend, because I've seen those compound fractures and everything that comes along with that. Is a rough thing. I've had that happen to a teammate. It was a news highlight. Okay, they used it as a news highlight when he got his ankle broke on a horse collar tackle, and we were on the other end of the field when you hear them resetting his ankle on the field. The screams you hear from somebody getting their legs set on a football field, okay, is blood curdling. All right, so this is a very real game, and I just wish that people would have a little more respect for the guys that are playing it, because the one thing I hate when they say that we play a kids game, there's nothing kids game about adult football. Okay, nothing kids game about it. Please stop saying that. Okay, it is real. It is inherently way more violent than what I coach at the high school level, or what I see at the Pop Warner level. Adult football is real. There's a reason why we make kids go wait 3 years coming out of college or coming out of high school to try and go pro, because your body isn't ready for what the adult level handles. So this it's something that I wish people would have a lot more respect for, but when it comes to injuries in football.
Yeah, no, I think you've all made great points, and Nathan in the chat as well, saying that it is his decision. So
yeah, easy to make comments from the comfort of your own home on the sofa. And I get it with social media and fantasy football, and I got $300 in this guy and you ruined my parlay. That's all good and well, but at the end of the day, that guy's got to be able to get in a car and drive home to his family. And I think that's something a lot of people forget about. We're just so focused on fantasy and parlays and gambling that we think like, oh, broken ankle, we'll be back next week. I mean, the guy from the 49ers wide receiver was shot a bullet through and through. Mm-hmm. I saw somebody comment on the comment, should I start him this week or not? Like, really? He just got shot, man. He didn't fall down the steps. He was shot and could have been killed. And their first concern was, should I start him or not? That's just to Jeff's point. People just got to be considerate and realize these guys are human.
Yeah, Superman doesn't have hands like that. Okay, folks, this game is real, right? It's not street football, right? So give these guys a little more respect for going out there and competing week after week.
Yeah, I completely agree. So before we close out, I forgot to ask our fantasy suggestions and recommendations. So Joe, you got your sleepers ready, and red alert, breaking news, because I am an AJ Brown obsessor stan for fantasy football. He is out for tomorrow night. So I was scrambling in the back trying to figure out what to do. Joe, what are your sleeper options for us?
That. I would go with 2 wide receivers who I think are people that should pick up on your squad and have them start. I think one should be Demarcus Robinson from the Rams. Remember, no Puka Nacua this week, so his target should go up. Another guy is the person that had a coming out party last week, and that's Jameson Williams from the Lions. I think that he's another guy that you saw what he did in week 1. I would assume that Jared Goff's going to be looking his way early and often again this week. So if you're looking for 2 receivers that can give you some points that other people in your league might not know about, those are the 2 guys I would go with. I would go with Williams and I would go with Robinson, especially Robinson, because Matt Stafford loves to throw the ball around the yard.
Well, if they're still floating around, I don't know if you guys are like me, but in my league, people just be swooping anybody that is everybody on the list. So, all right, Jeff, last week you dropped some good knowledge on the defense to play. So I want to hear another defensive matchup because I think all the good ones are taken, but I feel like you've got a secret one up your sleeve.
Listen, give me Pittsburgh versus Denver. I think Pittsburgh's defense played amazing last week. I think they're going to do great again. We see a young quarterback starting for Denver. A lot of questions on that offense. There will be turnovers in this game. There will be sacks in this game. There will be things that get you fantasy points. We always love to watch fantasy points on defense. So guess what? Give me the team that's going to go out there and get turnovers and sacks. Give me Pittsburgh versus Denver.
Yeah, I think that's a phenomenal option. If you have Pittsburgh lying around there, you're a lucky one. I think for me, I'm going to ask the question. I don't even have any help right now. If you're down a receiver like Ashmere is, are you playing Keenan Allen today or not?
Ooh.
Oh, man.
I guess the Texans defense, I don't know about that one.
You're going to need him because he ain't going to have anybody else to throw to. DJ Moore is going to be seeing a lot of attention. So, unless you're going to start Cole Kmet, is your flex. I don't know. You may be looking at the last minute waiver wire claims.
Yeah, I'm like, hoping that you can,
Isn't Keenan Allen banged up himself too?
He's been banged up since the start of the season. Yeah. You may want to look at the 3rd wide receiver in Tampa Bay as an option. You may want to look at Jalen Tolbert. Hopefully he starts getting some catches in Dallas this week as they go against New Orleans. Pretty sure they're going to be looking to do things to CeeDee Lamb. Brandon Cooks is a little banged up. So hopefully it'll be the Jalen Tolbert and the Jalen Brooks show in Dallas coming up with some big catches for those guys there. Maybe those guys get you some extra points. They're without their tight end who's a little beat up, Jake Ferguson. So there'll be other options in some of these games that you got to start to look at. If you need another wide receiver, I will look Jackson Smith and Jigba. If you don't have him laying around,
he's gonna finally pop off. Man.
Yeah. You may need him versus New England. I'm pretty sure they're going to have a special plan for DK Metcalf. So you may need a Jackson Smith and Jigba at that point to make some big possession catches, some big over-the-middle catches, and get some runs after the catch. So those are guys you want to look out for. I would stay away from a lot of the wide receiver ones in certain matchups. I'd stay away from Olave in Dallas. I'd stay away.
That's a bad matchup.
I would stay away from certain guys. It's going to be hard with Green Bay because they don't have their quarterback.
Yeah.
That would be one of the young receivers I would go after if you need a wide receiver that pretty much a lot of people have passed on. But with the quarterback injured, I'm not sure how those guys are going to really
Jennings from the 49ers seems to be getting more targets more and more. That might be a guy that might still be around.
Absolutely.
That's digging in the crates, but that's a guy that when he gets opportunity, he makes plays.
Absolutely.
Call him 3rd and Juwan for a reason.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, perfect. Well, everyone, hopefully Jeff helped you because he just helped me and I need to go. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in to Moving the Chains here. We had another fun one and an important conversation that needed to be had. So thank you, Jeff, for calling attention to that. And in case you guys have not subscribed or followed Team NBS Media everywhere on your social platforms, be sure to do so. We are here every Sunday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern. Had to do the math. And we'll see you guys next week. And be sure to just let us know in the comments who you got. All right. Have a great Sunday, everybody. And thanks for tuning in.